If you are someone who has a flair for reading novels, it is very much likely that you must have heard or read one of Stephen King's novels. With over 60 novels to his name, King has been dubbed by many as one of the greatest living writers. Quite prolific, popular, and in his 70s, King's new releases usually make it to the top of the bestsellers lists. The twist in the story is that this great writer, like many others, wasn't born this way. From his early days as a teenager, he wrote stories that were constantly been rejected. It was while he was working as a teacher in Maine that he wrote his first novel, Carrie. That was in 1974. King, it is recounted, submitted Carrie 30 times and got rejected all of those 30 times. Frustrated, angry, and disappointed, King threw away the manuscript. It was his wife who rescued it and asked him to try one more time. The rest, as is always said, is history. Stephen King is just one person who has ever attempted giving up. There are many more out there like him. It is very possible that you fall among that number. The truth is, life is not always fair. It will present you with 1,001 reasons to give up and throw in the towel. The situations of life will hurt, taunt, and even goad you to turn your back on your goals. As you face whatever problem today, just know that you are not the first, neither will you be the last. Almost every person that will pass through the face of this earth will have their own unfair share of the troubles and blows of this life. Before the thoughts of giving up take hold of your mind, train your mind to always think positive thoughts. Whatever happens in your life is usually as a result of what you feed your mind with. If you have prepared your mind to always dare the impossible, and if you have fed it with only positive vibes, then you will be better prepared to handle challenges. When the battles of life become so tough, you begin to nurse thoughts of giving up. It has happened to almost everyone if only they will be honest about it. So, when you are confronted by the thoughts of giving up, remember that your decision to not give up is not only for your good, but for the good of others who are also looking up to you. In other words, thinking of giving up is a selfish thought. You need to consider others who draw strength and inspiration from you. If you are a parent, for instance, what do you think will happen to members of your immediate family if you decide that you are tired of living and opt for a suicide? Your selfish action will leave behind a widow and orphans. This is because some private decisions have public consequences. God created every man with a definite purpose in mind. This means every human being you see today has a particular assignment on the face of the earth. When you give up, those questions that need answers will remain unanswered. The situations that have been waiting for a solution will remain that way until someone comes around to solve them. And no one has any idea as to when the next solution provider will appear on the scene. It may not even be in this generation. Do not deprive your generation of the blessing of a solution or answer because you choose to give up. Imagine if Jesus, on the brink of going to the cross, in the midst of the agony that overtook him at the Garden of Gethsemane, had decided to give up. What do you think will be the fate of humanity today? Eugene Peterson puts it beautifully in his Message paraphrase of the Bible when he puts it this way in Hebrews 12 verses 2-3. Keep your eyes on Jesus, who both began and finished this race we're in. Study how he did it. Because he never lost sight of where he was headed, the exhilarating finish in and with God, he could put up with anything along the way, cross, shame, whatever. And now he's there, in the place of honor, right alongside God. When you find yourself flagging in your faith, go over that story again, item by item, that long litany of hostility he plowed through. That will shoot adrenaline into your souls. In a race, only those who run all the way to the end get rewards and trophies. No provision has ever been made for those who gave up. Let us learn from Jesus, like the writer of Hebrews admonished. He had a vision of the end, the salvation of mankind. That's why he endured the shame and the cross to reach the finish line. Think of someone who stands to benefit from your endurance and doggedness when you refuse to give up. We have been given life by God, but we were never promised that our sojourn on earth will be a jolly ride. We will face storms and tempestuous waves. As a matter of fact, God reserves the fiercest battles for His strongest soldiers. All of the things happening to you are a strong indication that God trusts you to handle whatever will come your way. He created you, and so He has no doubt about the stuff you are made of and the capacity you carry. Problems are not necessarily an indication that God has left you. Many times, the devil may want to whisper into your ears that God has abandoned you. Therefore, it is a futile endeavor to continue on your journey of trying to make any impact. When you listen to the devil, you forget God's promise that He will be with you always, every day. As soon as you fully give in to the lies of the devil that God has abandoned you, then you give room in your heart for the thoughts of giving up. You must never come to that point in your life where you doubt God's presence. No matter how long your trials in life seem to last, they won't last forever. Many people gave up at the verge of breakthrough. Actually, your battles in life will become fiercest at the point when you are about to experience a major miracle. But the harder the predicament and struggle, the more glorious the victory. As the thought of giving up keeps popping into your head, knock it out with the thought of how far you have come. A true consideration of how far you have come will dissuade you from nursing any thought of giving up. Finally, your defeat will come the day you give up on God. Does God deserve to be given up on? Never. He can do all things for you and through you. His word encourages us in Job 42 verse 2. I know that you can do all things, and no thought or purpose of yours can be restrained. Amplified Bible. Because the purposes of God can never be thwarted, never think of giving up.